Good evening, everyone. Am I audible to all of you? Please respond. So let's start with the third session. So this is the first set which is in front of your screen. This is the first set. This is the first set. Question number 1, 2, and 3. So there are 3 questions in this exercise. Alright. For these 3 questions, I am going to give you approximately how many minutes? 7 minutes. So right now the time is 9:05, and then after 7 minutes, I open a poll which will be open for 1 minute. So 9:07. Okay, or I can say 9:05 to 9:12. So you all have got exactly 7 minutes. So I'm giving you 7 minutes to solve all these. So I'm also assigning you the privileges. Just wait. Please start now. Please start. Just see whether you can navigate through all these slides. Yes? Okay. So please start. Am I audible to all of you? Please respond. Yes? So I'm opening the poll. You should start marking your answers, all of you. Poll will be open for exactly 1 minute. All right. Please start marking your answers. Last 40 seconds. Okay, just wait and we'll see. All right. Let's start with the discussion. So it says the year 2004 was a great year for top clothes cotton mill. Manufacturing toys for the export market employed more than 2,000 workers. The company had an impressive growth in sales and profit. The chairman felt that is important, that employees were entitled to share in the profit, and it was proposed that the employees must be air conditioned. The proposal was discussed in a meeting that was attended by, among other senior officers, the marketing director, the personnel director, and the finance director. The proposal was based on the fact that the shop floor of the mill often had a temperature in excess of 40% with the relative humidity of 99%. The air conditioned mess would represent management appreciation of the employees. At the end of 2005, management reviewed the mill's performance. Profits were higher, and employee attrition rate was negligible. Chairman decided that the employee deserved additional recognition for their fine work. Since the mess had already been air conditioned, the chairman wanted to know if the employee appreciated this sort of action. In the course of discussion, the chairman asked the personnel director to send a questionnaire to sample of 50 employees and obtain their reaction to the air conditioning. The management agreed to decide only after obtaining the feedback from the employees. The personnel director made a simple mail to 50 employees, asked them for the following information. Now it says, I did not know that it was air conditioned 16, and I never ate there 8. So out of 50 people, 16 plus 8, 24, yani approximately 48% of the people, you can say approximately 48% of the people were not aware about this. They were not using this particular feature that the mess was air conditioned. They were either not aware or were not using. Okay. Now, let's move in. it says the main conclusion about the personnel director. So here we need to find out the conclusion about the personnel director. That is important. The main conclusion about the personnel director. Okay. So let me tell you the answers here. What most of you had said. Option A 0%. Okay. Option B 21%. Option 3 that is 30%, and then 21%, and then 6%. All right, let's start with it. Now tell me one thing. It says here we need to find out the information about the personnel director. Option number D says the cost of air conditioning is a waste since its beneficiaries did not feel any benefit. Now tell me one thing. When I'm talking about the statement number D, does the statement D related anything it is saying about the personnel director? That is it related to the personnel director? Okay. Because the question is talking about what is the conclusion about the personnel director. I need to find a conclusion about the personnel director. So if I need to find out the conclusion about the personnel director, so is this a conclusion about the personnel director that the personnel director, okay, what? The cost of air conditioning is a waste since its beneficiary did not feel any benefit. So how is it related? How is it something? How is it telling something about the personnel director? No, not at all. Nothing. So it means the answer can't be option number 3. The answer can't be option number 3, option number 4, option number 5 because in all these options the option D is there. And among first two options, of course, answer can't be option number A. The answer is what? C only. That the personnel director had failed in his duty of maintaining constant touch with the employees. What is the role of a personnel director? Personnel director, which basically means you can say that is the HR manager. So basic job of a personnel manager is to understand the needs and the problems of the employees and to address them time to time. So basically, he was responsible for employees' action. He was not able to convey the benefit, the benefit of whatever the management is doing to the employees. So the answer should be option number 2, C. And since 3 of the options have been rejected, so among B and C only 2 of the correct answer should be this one. Is that clear to all of you? Any doubts to anyone in this question? Please discuss. Pakka, can I move to the next question? Basically, if you look at here, only A, B, C talk about the personnel director. Option number D doesn't talk about the personnel director. Okay, can I move to the next? Rajendra, Rajesh, Rakshit, Rohit, Sahit, Jani, Shivali, Saurabh, Shivam, Suvasis, Dimesh, Philip, all everyone. Keep this. Now, question number 2. Let me share the result with most of you. What answers you have got. So here, 12% of you had said option number 1. Okay, 12% of you had said option number 2, 33%, and then 6%, and then 33%, 6%, 12%, and the remaining 24% of you have left this question. All right, let's discuss. Management of top clothes cotton mill considers itself to be a socially conscious. Okay, that is very good. It considers itself to be socially conscious. And its decisions are often re-examined for their social relevance and the impact on the society. Decisions are often re-examined for this. In view of this consideration, what could have been considered before deciding on profit percentage? Okay. So there are a lot of options, and the question is the option in decreasing order of their impact on the society. You can decreasing order. So first of all, I need to identify which statement, okay, so whether the A, B, C, D, E, among these 5, which one will create a maximum impact on the society. That we need to discuss here. Okay, so can you guys tell me which one will create a maximum impact on the society? C. Okay. All right. E. Okay. D. Now it says, let's start with this one. It says first communicating management intention via employee newsletters. नहीं, इसका तो कुछ impact ही नहीं होगा. I think A should come in the last. You all agree with me? Among the given option A, B, C, D, I think the impact of this is going to be very, very less on the society. Yes or no? Only to the newsletters, to the employees. So A should be in the last, I think. So A should be in the last. So probably we can eliminate option number 3 and option number 4. Okay. Taking employees' input in designing the cafeteria, interiors, and installation of air conditioning. Considering employees' views on different ways of sharing excess profit, investing in capacity expansion to take care of booming export market, and dividing the profit equally among the workers. So I hope that you all agree with me that A is the statement which will not create, in fact, at all any impact. You are simply sending a newsletter as usual. Yes or no? So A should be in the last. So we know that A should be in the last. So if A is in the last, we can easily eliminate two of the option choices. That is option number 3 and option number 4. So you can eliminate option number 3 and option number 4. Now, from the remaining 4, the question is which one creates a maximum impact on the society? Okay. Now, here you can see there. Let's see. Among D and E, investing, statement D says, investing in capacity expansion to take care of the booming export market. And E, dividing the profit equally among the workers and shareholders. C, considering employees' views on a different way of sharing excess profit. And taking employees' input in designing the cafeteria, interior, and installation of this one. Okay. I think the second list, B should be the second last. Taking employees' input in designing the cafeteria, इसका society पे उतना ज़्यादा impact तो नहीं पड़ेगा ना? Yes or no? Because going the reverse order, instead of going to which one is the best, I think B should be the second last. You all agree with me? Because statement C, D, E, there, that will create a major impact on the employees instead of this one. Okay. So B should be in the last. On the basis of this, I can eliminate option number 1 also. You should also keep on eye on the options, try to eliminate the option. In these options, so basically CBA and CBA. Okay, now among E and D, I need to identify which will create a maximum impact. Okay, which one should come the first? So here, D says investing in capacity expansion to take care of the booming export market and dividing the profit equally among the workers and shareholders. Now, one thing which you need to remember one thing. Question में given क्या है? Impact on the society. ठीक है? The management of top cloth cotton mill consider itself to be socially conscious, and its designers often be examined for their social relevance and the impact on the society. So now think again and tell me whether the capacity expansion will create an impact on the society, okay, or dividing the profit among only the workers and shareholders. Because in my opinion, if you are expanding, okay, if you are expanding the company and if you are opening some new branches or if you are capacity expansion, so in that case, you are actually going to provide a lot of job opportunity to the people. Yes or no? So which should come? Which will create a more impact on the society? D or E? Not only think about other workers and the employees and the shareholders. Think as a society. So I think the maximum impact which can create on the entire society is the statement number D. So by using that logic, we can say the correct answer should be option number D. Is that clear to all of you? In such type of the question, always look at the options also. Try to eliminate the options also. Any doubts to anyone? Can I move to the next question? Third question of this set. Let's see. Okay. So 30% of you are saying option number 1. Okay, 18% of you are saying option number 2, 6% of you are saying 3, and 12% of you are saying this one, and 12%. 12% of you are saying 4, and 12% of you are saying this one, and 21% of you are left this question. All right. Let's see your discussion. This decision-making situation best highlights the first option. It says managerial short-sightedness in decision-making. Okay, so you are saying the managerial short-sightedness in the decision-making. Most of you have said this one. what I think is that it is not actually a managerial shortcut. In fact, if you look at here, it's a management long-term vision. ठीक है ना? ठीक है, it was a management, I can say, it was a management, not short-sightedness, but it was a long-term vision. Because of the long-term vision only, they had, ठीक है, they had in fact, they are in fact doing all these exercises. Okay, doing a meeting, take care, sharing the profit among the employees, as well as taking a poll. So taking a poll so that whether it is actually beneficial to the employees or not, take care, so that they can decide on the basis of that what should be the future course of the action and everything. So in my opinion, it should not be the short-sightedness actually. Yes, it is totally contradictory. So the answer can't be option number 1. The correct answer is, of course, option number 2. Okay. Managerial benevolence in sharing profit among the workers. In the entire passage, it is talking only about how to distribute or how to, whenever the company is coming into the profit on two of the occasions or 2 consecutive years, whenever they are in the profit, they are always trying to do something for their workers. So it is actually managerial benevolence in sharing profit among the workers. That should be the correct answer. Now, if you have any doubts, please ask. Anyone has any doubt? D. Inefficient infrastructure management. No, you can't say there is a. We cannot generalize it. Okay. What you can say is that, okay, that is just one of the statements. But what you can say that the personnel manager had actually failed in handling the survey. So it doesn't undermine. It will not undermine the managerial benevolence side. So better option should be D. Okay. Any other doubts or queries for anyone? Can we move to the next step? How many of you have got? Okay, when you are saying managerial short-sightedness in decision making, but whatever the exercises which the management personnel director and the other director, finance director and marketing director, they are doing. For example, they are doing a survey. Why are they doing a survey? Okay. Had they would be, okay, there will be a, we can say, if, uh, because depending upon the survey, they wanted to take the next course of the action. So you cannot say that it, okay, because of the long-term vision. Every time, whenever they are coming into the profit, they are thinking, okay, what next we can do it for the employees. So that's why A can't be the answer. They are thinking for the future. Short-sightedness, because, for example, there was no AC in the mess, so they thought for that also. So you cannot say it was a short-sightedness. You can say probably the implementation, they were somehow they failed in the implementation of that. Okay. Now, let's go to the second set. In the second set, let me see how many questions are there. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So there are 4 questions, and for these 4 questions, I'm going to give you how many minutes? I think 8 minutes is more than sufficient. Is that right? So right now the time is 9:34. Okay. Right now the time is 9:34. So 9:34 to 9:34 plus 8, 9:40. So 9:34 to 9:40. So please start, all of you. Okay. So let's start with the discussion now. Question number 4. Let me read this one. For each question, an answer and a reason has been given. Base your analysis on the information presented in the passage marked. First, if both A and R are based on the info given in the passage and R is the correct explanation of it, both A and R are based on this and this. There are 5 options with C. Now, it says the Society for Education in India has been engaged in ruling engaged in running primary, so there is a SEI, it has been engaged in running primary school in different parts of the country since 1950. While attending a conference on employee selection, Mr. J. Mehta, a senior member of the society, learned that a leading school had recently employed a psychologist to perform employee functions. Okay. So a leading school had employed psychologists to perform employment function, and this function is recruiting and selection of teachers. Within 2 months of his return, Mr. J. Mehta contacted a reputed university and employed a graduating psychologist, Mr. Vivek Gupta. Mr. Vivek Gupta was employed by ACI with a single directive that he was to contribute to the selection of the teachers. Okay, so the single directive was that he needs to contribute to the selection of the teachers. This task had previously been the prerogative of principal of each school. Earlier, only the principal of the schools used to select their teachers. Mr. Gupta immediately notified each principal that in the future he was to be notified of the personal needs, and in return he would recruit, select, screen and select the teachers. Okay. At the end of the first year with ACI, Mr. Gupta realized that his efforts had resulted in, he realized. During his first few months, he encountered much opposition from several principals who had been managing school for 10 or more years. From the senior principal, he is facing a lot of opposition. They did not believe in these principals did not believe in newer psychological techniques and preferred selecting people based on their own assessment. Other principals frequently refused to accept the teachers selected by Mr. Gupta. Finally, Mr. Gupta began to notice fewer and fewer principals notifying him of vacancies in their school. Realizing that he was not making any effective contribution, Mr. Gupta submitted the suggestion to the society members that the support and cooperation of the school principals should be a matter of executive order, or else his resignation should be considered. All right. Let's start. So I am just going to share you the result, okay, and then after that we can start with the discussion. Okay, 8%, 24% in the same order. First option, second option, third option 22%, fourth option 5%, 8%, and 32% of you have left this. Not actually. Why? It's easy now. Okay. I think the correct answer of this question is literally. It says, what was the flaw in the decision? The question is, what was the flaw in the decision of selecting a psychologist for selecting teachers that led to the final situation? I need to identify the reason and the assertion. If I go back here. Sorry, answer and the reason. Answer, it says, Mr. Mehta decision was predominantly driven by information about another school that had enlisted the services of a psychologist for recruitment and selection. Yes? Is this the answer? Yes or no? Yes, this was the answer that is given completely in the passage. I think there is no doubt in that. So this is yes. So this is the answer, yes. And is it given in the passage? Yes, it is given in the passage also. R, the reason. Both the administration of the school and the managing teachers have been primarily responsibilities of the principal of the school. Is this reason right? Why not? I think this reason is correct. Whether this is given or not. Okay, first of all, tell me, is this reason is given in the passage or not? पहले मुझे बताओ whether it is given in the paragraph below. चलो अभी देखते हैं. Let's see. Do not worry about that. This task had previously been the prerogative of a principal of its school. So now tell me whether it is given in the passage or not that the selection of the teachers was previously the principal of the school was responsible. Whether it is given, yes or no. Now tell me. Yes, pakka. All right. Now, during his principal, just take rate, during his first few months, he encountered much opposition from several principals who had been managing schools for 10 or more years. Managing school means what? Don't you think that is the administration? So yes, that is the admin. Managing school is nothing but admin. So now tell me whether it is given in the passage or not. Yes. So ideally here, both of them are given in. So statement answer is also given, the reason is also given. But is this reason the correct explanation of this answer? No. That is no. So that's why both of them are given, but R is not the correct explanation of A. So the answer is if both A and R are based on information given in the passage. If both A and R are based on the information given in the passage, but R is not the correct explanation of A. So the correct answer is, of course, option number 2, which 24% of you have given it right. So the correct answer for this question is option number 2. Okay, any doubt? So both the informations are given. Administration department, what do you mean by the administration department? Rajendra, batao. What do you mean by the administration department? Batao mujhe zara. What is management department and what is the administration department? Please clear the confusion here. What is the difference between the management department and administration department? Or both of them are more or less same thing? So, clear hai? Yes. So it is given na. Can I move to the next question now? Okay. Now let me share the result of the poll. So I can say a 14%, 8%, option 2, 32%, 3%, and 3%. Most of you have left this set. But I think this is one of the easiest sets which आज के lecture का. अभी तो difficult वाले आने वाले हैं. Now let's see. It says what responsibilities were shouldered by Mr. Vivek in first year of employment. Okay. What responsibilities? Mr. Vivek had the responsibility of contributing his expertise to recruitment and selection of teachers. Is it given in the passage? Yes. So it is given in the passage that we need. So this is given in the passage. Okay. Second, the board member wanted to systemize the recruitment and the selection of the entire organization. Is it given in the passage? It is nowhere it has been given. That's right. Pakka? ठीक है. Now, so it says what responsibilities were shouldered by Mr. Vivek in his first year of employment. A is given, R is not given. So let me see what are the options which are available. Both A and A. If A is based on information given in the passage, but R is not based on the facts given. So I can say the answer is, of course, option number 3. So this was a easy one. The correct answer is, of course, option number 3. Can I move to the next question? Any doubts to anyone? Move to this one. Question number 6. So question number 6, the results are with us. That is 8%, 3%, 35%, okay, 11% and 43%. 43% of you have not marked that. Okay. So देखते हैं यहाँ पे क्या है. How are the changes in the recruitment and selection process received by the principals? The first one, the principal rejected the new process in its entirety from the day when it was introduced. Is it given in the passage? No, not from the day one. Second, the principals were cynical of the abilities of the psychologist as far as recruitment and selection of teachers were concerned. Does it given anywhere in the passage? No. अगर दोनों ही no है, so what should be the answer in that case? Option number 5. Both A and R are not based on information given in the passage. None of these two things are given in the passage. So the correct answer for this question is, of course, option number 5, which most of you have got it right. Okay. Anyone who want me to discuss further? Sorry, 5 to किसी ने नहीं बोला. Most of 43% of you did not mark the answer actually. Only 11% of you should also. Third option, 0%. Can I move to the next question? 4. At the end of his first year with SCR, Mr. Gupta realized that his effort had resulted in a failure. Was Mr. Vivek self-assessed justified? First is yes, since the selection of teachers continued to be done as it was being done earlier. Is it given in the passage? Yes. He was placed in a situation where the concerned person refused to consult him regarding his expertise. Hence, his impact was dependent on cooperation by the others. Is it given in the passage? Yes. And is R the correct explanation of A? Yes. So the answer for this question is, of course, option number 1. That's right. The correct answer for this question is option number 1. So this was an easy set. Let me see how many of you have got it right. Question number 7. Okay. 16% of you have got it right. I'm quite surprised. Most of you did not try to solve this question. ऐसा क्यों? 70% of you have not attempted this question as well. What is the reason? या पोल जल्दी खत्म हो गया था. अच्छा, that's why you did not mark that. So I increase the time limit for the poll in the next question. Now, anyone want me to discuss any of these 4 questions before I proceed to the next one? Next step? No. So this was an easy one. Let's say the third check. Again, a very, very interesting. Question number 6. Okay, just a minute. I'm coming to the question number 6. None of these two are given in the passage. मतलब it says the principal was cynical of the abilities. नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है ना. The principal was not cynical of the abilities of the psychologist. They simply did not believe in that particular process. So they are not cynical about this. So that's why, yeah, they refuse to accept, but it doesn't mean that they are cynical about their abilities. Listen. This word is a very extreme word. That the is a cynical word. Okay, so you can neglect that also. All right, let's move to the step 3. Question number 8 to 10. So I'm giving you how many minutes right now? 9:57. Let me see how many questions are there. 3 questions are there. 8, 9, and 10. Difficult set. Let's so 9:58. I'm giving you 7 minutes to 10:05. Please start. Okay, done. All of you, please respond. Should I open the poll now? Okay, so I'm going to open the poll. The poll will be open for 2 minutes. Please mark your answers. Okay, so the poll has ended. Let's start with the discussion. Okay, पहले मैं पढ़ लेता हूँ जी. Let's read it. Am I audible to all of you? Now it says, Sayan, a recent MBA graduate with a specialization in sales and marketing. So he's a specialization in sales and marketing. He applied for the position of sales manager in a firm producing industrial fabrication tools. The management of the company took pride in its non-discriminatory recruitment policy. In offering Sayan the position, the management made it clear. Okay, he was a recent MBA graduate. The management made it clear that an indispensable feature of the job involved entertaining purchasing agents and that a certain amount of social drinking was necessary. Sayan he assured them that he was a moderate drinker with no moral or religious prejudice against drinking. During the following 2 years, he became a successful manager and on 2 occasions received award for achieving the highest sales for the quarter. So for the first 2 years, he became a successful manager and on 2 occasions received the highest sales for the quarter. However, he found that he was encountering a problem resulting from the necessity of entertaining customers at least 2 or 3 times a week. The problem was that he felt that he was becoming an alcoholic. Since he had recently been overindulging even when now that is important. Since he had been overindulging even when he is not entertaining customers. The problem became progressively worse until he found himself in a constantly inebriated condition and unable to work without resorting to drinking at the work. On reporting about his problem to the management, Sayan was sent at company expense to alcoholic rehabilitation center, from which he was discharged after 6 weeks of rest and recuperation. However, within 2 minutes of resuming duty, Sayan was arrested in a local pub and charged with drunkenness and assault. The victim of his assault was a customer whom he had taken to the pub to discuss a sale. The management viewed the incident extremely negatively and fired Sayan. Shortly thereafter, a lawyer representing Sayan informed the management that he intended to bring legal action against the company. He felt the company was liable since his ill alcoholism was a result of his employment. He commented that drinking was a requirement of his job and therefore alcoholism represented an occupational hazard. The management decided to form a committee to discuss the matter and recommend a course of action. The course of action should be such so as to prevent. Now, what should be the course of action? To prevent such type of the event in the future. All right. Now, let's start with the first. If I go by the result of the poll for question number 8, I'm just sharing the answers. It says 5%, 9%, 19%, 19%, 16, and 16, and remaining 24% of your episodes. Okay. It says, as the management decides this situation, it also has to appoint a replacement for the cell. The management is exploring following options so that a fiasco is not repeated. From management's points of view, now that is very, very important. From the management point of view, the options in descending order of ease of implementation. Ease of implementation, that the one which is very, very easy to implement, that should come in the first. And the one which is difficult to implement, that should come in the last. Okay. Now, the first statement says, okay, the first statement says that do not go to B school, hire an experienced sales manager from the market and attract him or her by offering a higher remuneration package. Yes, ये हो सकता है ना? This is a valid reason because the problem here is very, very easy to implement. Yes or no? Because you are going to hire an experienced sales manager. So you are going to hire experienced sales manager, someone who has already done a similar kind of the job or similar kind of the role in some other companies, okay, and who has been doing all these things here. No, so it is not a discrimination. No? The question here is trying to understand. It is not talking about discrimination. It is saying from management point of view, the option in descending order of ease of implementation. तो यहाँ पे तो मैं इसकी बात ही नहीं कर रहा ना, whether it is about the distribution policy or not. I come to that point later on. ठीक है? So remember the most critical point for the management here is that they should hire experienced managers. The reason being is because the freshers tend to get swayed away, and they might take a lot of bad habits, like in this case, excess drinking. ठीक है? Okay. B, state the requirement of the job, including the necessity of social drinking explicitly in the employment offer letter. A signed company copy of the employment offer letter would indicate that the employee has access this one. Now, this is also important, okay? But easy for implementation. For when it comes to easy to implement, A is the easiest to implement. B is also okay, because whenever you are hiring any employees of a company, it's your duty of the management to explain everything in the very beginning, that these are the things which you needed to do. Okay. C. C says social drinking does not imply that a person has to drink excessively. Therefore, select only mature persons, those who have a high self-esteem, which do not give in to social pressures and who know how to exert self-control. चाहिए होना चाहिए at all. If you can neglect it, so of course also answer can't be option number 1. Okay. It's a very strong option also, yes or no, very extreme also, that select only mature person. It is saying that select only mature person. The point is how to decide that who is the mature or who is not the mature. For example, if there are 10 people in front of you, so on what grounds you can identify that, okay, out of these 10 people, who is the mature people. Now, D, provide guidance to all sales managers. ठीक है, 18 साल से जो ड्रिंक करे वो मैच्योर हो जाता है? अच्छा, I don't think so. Provide guidance to all sales managers, both experienced as well as newly appointed, on how to behave during social occasions. This will be helpful to those who are otherwise moderate drinkers. Okay, but end up drinking beyond the capacity. I think A should be in the beginning. Yes or no? A should be in the beginning. आना चाहिए, because A is the first option. Is the first statement is something which is very easy to implement. इसमें कुछ ज़्यादा मेहनत करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. ठीक है? So ideally on the basis of this only, I can reject rest of the other three options. एक ही choice बच जाता है मेरे पास. That is option number 5. Correct answer is of course option number 5. A plus B, the combination of A and B is easy to implement. Then the combination of B and D, and then followed by the combination of B and E. Rajesh, how can we say it is easier to implement? But remember one thing, you need to avoid the future, that such that in the future nothing should be happen. What's the guarantee here? Because it is already happening. Okay, try to understand, Rajesh. You are saying B is easier to A, but B, what's the guarantee that you get a right kind of the people? You are getting a right kind of the people, because this is what they have already done. Even when they have selected the science, they have explicitly mentioned there also that these are the terms and conditions, and you might need to drink socially. So that's why B should not come in the first. A and B is a better combination. A is the easiest to implement. Okay. Any doubts to anyone? So A and B should be come first. The combination of A and B. Descending order. That's right. So A and B is easiest to implement. So the combination of A and B. Now after that, there is only one option. Like two of the options are there, in which the combination of A and B is the first. So उसके बाद ये तो C से better यही है मेरे पास B plus D and B plus C. So it's better to mark option number 5. A can't be that. Is that clear, Eswan? How can we test in option E? That's why it is in the last. No, easy to difficult. Descending is easy to implement. It says descending order of ease of implementation. So something which is very easy to implement, that should come in the first. Okay. Something which is difficult to implement, that should come in the last. And that is the reason, Sahil, that E is in the last one. Of course, we cannot test that. That's why it is in the last. Okay. If I am saying among D and E, D should be the better one. D should be easier to implement. Yes or no, Sahil? Among D and E. So that's why B plus D. डिक्रीजिंग ऑर्डर का मतलब क्या? डिसेंडिंग ऑर्डर ऑफ ईज ऑफ इम्प्लीमेंटेशन. Ease of implementation, which means what? Something which is very, very easy to implement, ठीक है, that should come in the first. Something which is difficult to implement, that should come in the last. Easy to difficult. Okay, so is that clear to all of you now? It's a combination. क्या इसमें the options are given in the combination that the combination of these two is easier to implement. It's not like this one. ये तो already options में given है ना? In the options, it's not like a single statement. Okay, that we can do these two things. Like I can say, okay, follow statement A and B. These are the two things easiest to implement. So let's implement these two things. All right. Nine. Let me take the answers for question number 9. So 3% of you had said option 1. Okay. And 41%, 9%, sorry, 19%, 5%, and 5%. Let's discuss this. Assuming the management has no constraint in implementing change in the policy, so management is ready to change the policy. So they have got no constraint. Okay, they have got no constraint in implementing change in policy. The following possible recommendations can be made confidently about the company recruitment and selection policy. Okay. Now it is the option that makes good business sense and represents the choice for the management in increasing order of alignment with respect to its policy of non-discrimination. So if I'm talking about here, it says first of all that is required to sell the product is to entertain the purchase officer. The company should predominantly by hiring. Okay, when it is saying the company should predominantly be hiring college graduates, and that too who know how to interact socially. Okay. B says here, the firm would be better off by hiring sales manager from the market rather than those fresh out of the business school. C says the firm should have only one sales manager. The sales manager should know. D says the firm should have an intense induction period where the newly appointed employees are trained in managerial aspect of the job and provide training in social skills, including how to manage things. And E is what? People passing out of MBA college and without working. People passing out of MBA college and without working are as good as high school kids. The firm should try to avoid them at all costs, as they would here. So, can I say statement E is basically it is trying to say that statement E is saying that we should not hire the freshers. Yes or no? Statement E is saying that we should not hire the freshers. Am I right? Okay. And B is also saying that the firm would be better off by hiring sales managers from the market rather than those fresh out of the business school. So B and E are both of nothing but can I say both the statements have the same meaning but worded differently. The actual meaning, if you read here, statement number B and E, both of them had the same both of them had the same meaning, but they have been worded differently. And A, all that is required. So I think A, B, and E, statement A, B, and E, it is talking about nothing but this is talking about what? Discriminating policy, yes or no? Because the A, B, and E statement, in all these statements, they are talking, okay, one of them are saying first statement, only places should be hired. Second is only work should be hired. E also said volume of work should be hired. Okay. Increasing order of alignment with respect to its policy of the non-discrimination. Okay. And C and D. So can you say ideally, if I look at here, so C and D should be A, B, E should be before C and D. Yes or no? Okay. And among C and D, which represents the discriminatory policy? Among statement C and D, if I just compare only C and D, from which statement you can see that okay, there is a slight little bit of hint of discriminatory policy. D or C may, I think C may, because The firm should hire only one sales manager. The sales manager should know about this one here. Okay. In any case, it doesn't matter here. So C and D should be in the last. Yes or no? C and D should be in the last. Can you say A, B, E? It should be before C and D. And is there any need to select a statement D and E, both of them together? I can select either B or E. B और E दोनों को तो include करने का कोई सेंस नहीं है, because both the meaning of statement B and E are same. So now what should be the answer? Please tell me. The answer should be option number 3. That's right. The answer should be option number 3. So the correct answer is by select, or from the options I can say the best option is nothing but A, E, C, D. B is more discriminating than C. So C cannot come before B. In fact, B should come before C. Is that clear to all of you? So a difficult one. Yes, confusing to hand. Can I move ahead to the next question? Ten. So let's see question number 10. Let me share the result of the poll to all of you. 8 9. This is 3%, this is 3%, this is 70%, and this is 5% and 3%. And 16% of you have read this question. I think most of you are right in this case. It says, from the science perspective, which option allow him to salvage his career prospect? Most of you had said, 70% of you had said, obtain documentation from the firm that highlights his performance and experience, abstain from a legal action against the firm, have a settlement outside the legal system, and take a job in totally different company. Yes, you all are right. Because 70% of you who have marked this one, that's right. It is self-explanatory. It's better always to avoid the law. Yes or no? Because once there is a legal case, you do not know how much money you are going to spend on that legal case and how much time it is going to. In that case, what about your career in that amount of time? Okay. So it's better to take a working certificate and all those things and follow this. So the answer should be option number 3 only. Yes or no? Clear है ये? Two भी हो सकता है. Ask for a job in manufacturing. But what about Tulip? How do you know that he is fit for manufacturing? For example, it is same as saying to me that I should start asking for a job where I need to teach English. ठीक है ना? So you cannot say a manufacturing job. Or maybe Rahul sir start searching for a job in the field of teaching mathematics. So it's not career. Okay. अच्छा ठीक है. That's good. Ideally, देखो, always in most of the legal cases, ठीक है, you can say it's always better to avoid the legal cases only. Company के against जाके how many people have won the cases? It's a simple waste of time as well as a waste of money. हाँ, पर पैसा मिल जाता है कितने सालों के बाद मिल जाता है ना. मेरा पैसा तो मुझे अभी तक नहीं मिला. ओके, चले आगे. Yes. ठीक है. All right. Usually one should avoid. Can I move to the next set of the questions? So the last set of the questions, like I told you in the very first session, at times in the XAT, there is a one set of decision making which involves a probability also, a little bit of probability also. Every alternate year, last year आया था क्या probability पे question in the decision making mixed with the probability? No. So इस साल chances है that you get a one set of decision making mixed with the probability. Usually every alternate year, ठीक है, they give one decision making set involving probability. Okay, so we'll be doing a last set which involves a probability concept also. It's a set of 5 questions, question number 11 to 15. All right, not all the questions. I am sure that out of 15 questions, you should be able to solve 2 to 3 questions. So for these 5 questions, I should give you how much time? Okay. Every alternate year I have seen they give one set on decision making mixed with the probability. 10 minutes. Is that okay? So right now the time is 10. Okay, probability basis, I'm giving you more time. It's a pure mathematical set. Okay, decision making with the mathematics involved, not a HR based here. So I'm giving you 15 minutes. So right now 10:32 to let's say 10:45. After 13 minutes, I'll see whether you need more time or not. Okay, so please start all of you. Question number 11 to 15. Okay, let's start with the discussion. Should we? ठीक है, जितने होने वाले होंगे उतने तो कर लिए होंगे तुम लोगों ने. Let's. I am opening the poll. The poll will be open for 2 minutes. So please mark the answer of all the 5 questions. Okay. Please mark your answers. Okay. Okay. The last 20 seconds to mark with the answers. Please do that. Last 10 seconds. So let's start here. Question number 11. I think this is one of the easiest questions here. Most of you have marked the answer as option number 3. That's right. The correct answer for this question is, of course, option 3. 60% of 59% of you have got it correct. So this was a very, very easy one. Let's discuss it quickly before I move to the next one. I'm just going to write down few data which you should also write down on your notebook. That is bus, taxi, train, and the flight. Time. The first one is nothing but that is from Delhi to how? Where? First stage to Delhi to Bharatpur. So I can say Delhi to Bharatpur. The time taken is 12 hours, 12 hours, and 12 hours. Okay, and flight is there is no flight. Okay, and the probability 0.65, okay, 0.75 and 0.9. That is for the first stage, Delhi to Bharatpur. Then the second stage is from Bharatpur to where? Jodhpur. Yes, Bharatpur to Jodhpur. So Bharatpur to Jodhpur, the time taken is 16, 14, and 12. I'm sure that's what I've written out here. And the probability is nothing but that is 0.8, 0.85, and 0.9. Now the third stage is from Jodhpur to Jaipur. So Jodhpur to Jaipur, the time is given as 15, 15, and 10, and 2. Alright. And I can say the probability is 0.65, 0.7, and 0.9, and 0.85. These are the respective probabilities. And the last stage is from Jaipur to Ajmer. So Jaipur to Ajmer, time is 5, 5, 4, and there is no flight. Probability 0.55, 0.55, and 0.7. So it is the second best option gives a total travel time in terms of hours. Okay. So Delhi to Bharatpur, so it doesn't matter whether you travel by bus, taxi, or train. That is 12 hours. Maximum hours, okay. Minimum hours, क्या लग रहा है? The best option is what? Train, flight, train. Yes or no? The best option is nothing but if I go for train, and then if I catch a flight, and then again train. So I think the minimum number of hours is taken is 30 hours. That's right. The minimum number of hours is 30 hours. Okay? If I go by, yes, that's right. So minimum is 30 hours. Okay? After that, it is 31 hours. So the second is it is 31 hours. So the answer is option number 3, 31. Do I need to add the values and show it to you? नहीं ना? ठीक है, पहला तो देख ही सकते हो 12 plus 12 is 24, 24 plus 2, 24 plus 2 is equal to how much? 26, and 26 plus 4 is 30. ठीक है, अब instead of 4 hours, if I add this 5, so 26 plus 5, it will be comes out to be 31. So the answer is 31, second best. Can I move to the next question? So this was easy. Question number 12. Due to winter fog, flights out of Delhi have become uncertain and unreliable. Okay. Given this constant itinerary, Ram should adopt to have the best probability of reaching Ajmer on time. Okay, best probability of reaching Ajmer on time. So most of you, let me see, what have you done? Most of you had marked, 50% of you had marked option number 3, which is the correct answer. Okay, 50% of you had marked option number 3, which is the correct answer. The simple reason is here, if you look at here. Delhi to Bharatpur by train, Bharatpur to Jodhpur by train, Jodhpur to Jaipur by train, and Jaipur to Ajmer by train. In all these 4 cases, whenever you are traveling with a train, you can see the probability is high, 0.9, 0.9, 0.9, and here 0.75. So in that case, definitely the best route is nothing but I should travel by train, because in that case the probability is always high. So the answer for question number 12 is option number 3. Clear to all of you? Any doubts to anyone? Taxi में probability कम है ना? Someone has said taxi. No. Taxi, Bharatpur to taxi, their probability is very low. That's why I cannot do taxi. ठीक है साहिल? Alright. Now, question number 13. It says Ram younger brother Sam gets to know of Ram travel plans. Alright. Okay, and wants to come along as against his brother. Okay, as against his brother. Okay. Sam enjoys scenery and route, and okay, so she enjoys scenery and route, and wants Ram to maximize the travel time. To do so, itinerary the Ram should decide upon. So maximum time, I can see question number 13. Okay, in question number 13, most of you, 47% of you had marked option number 4. 47% of you had marked option number 4. And which is the right answer. Which is the right answer. Because I need to find out the maximum amount of time. So you can see in the fourth option, 1, 2, 3, 4. In almost all these 4 options, 1, 2, 3, 4, the time is same. Am I right? In the first four statement, 1, 2, 3, 4, in all the four options, first four one, the time taken is same. So that's why the answer is option number 4. Just you need to add the time because he enjoys the scenery and route, so he wants to maximize the travel time. So that's it. Can we move to the next question? So like I said, the first these three questions were easy, doable. अब यहाँ से problem समझिए. Ram statistically oriented friend Rocky disagreed that Ram should use only a single criteria for decision making. Decision making has to incorporate all the criteria together. That's what makes a sound decision. Rocky gave his advice in the most suggestive tone. How does one do that? Asked Ram. Simple. All you need to do is give weight to the criteria. I need to a particular weightage will be given to the criteria and multiply the value of each criteria by its weight and then sum all the product for each option. Rocky answered. Looking at the first look on Ram's face, Rocky gave an example. For each of the options, there are two criteria. Probability of not making it to the wedding and travel time. The probability of not reaching on time is equal to 1 minus probability of reaching the time. Suppose you had the possibility of not making it to the wedding despite your best efforts. Then your time and money is wasted. So let's give that criteria a weightage of 80%. And moreover, you also want to minimize the travel. So for the travel time, the weightage is only 20%. Okay. And therefore, for each option, you can sum the product of the values of the respective criteria with its weight and compare the sum for each of the options. Choose the option with the lowest total. Well, so simple. Let's see. Though he said, ask Ram, that's so simple, but I know it's not a very simple thing. Okay. So let's start with this one. 14. As the foggy conditions in winter continue, flights out of Delhi have become uncertain and unreliable. Adopting Rocky elementary decision-making framework, which of the following items is wrong? So let's say I'm going for the first option. Okay. Okay. Now tell me one thing, which is important here. Delhi to Bharatpur by train. Okay. So what is the probability that they will reach on the time in the first option? Okay. What is the probability that they will reach on the time? Can you say Delhi to Bharatpur by train, the probability is 0.9. Bharatpur to Jodhpur by a taxi. So if I take a taxi, what is the probability of taxi? 0.85. Batate jana, I think you all have written that table which I have written in the first slide. Taxi is 0.85, you can see. Bharatpur to Jodhpur, taxi is 0.85. So just keep telling me. 0.9 into 0.85. Okay. Jodhpur to Jaipur by bus. What is the probability? Jodhpur to Jaipur by bus, 0.65. So I can say 0.65. And Jaipur to Ajmer by train. What is the probability? 0.75. Multiply all of them and can anyone tell me what is this value? What is the probability that you will reach on time? Multiply all of them and tell me the exact value. Okay. क्या आएगा? I think it will be comes out to be 0.373. Please check and confirm. Is it equal to 0.373? So I can say probability on not reaching on time, that is 1 minus t bar. Okay, that probability will not reach on time. 1 minus 0.373. That will be comes out to be 0.627. Okay. And in the first one, how many hours are needed? Can you add the total number of hours? But Delhi to Bharatpur train, Bharatpur to Jodhpur by taxi, Jodhpur to Jaipur by bus, and Jaipur to Ajmer by train. What is the total hours, total time needed? What is the total time needed? Please check and tell me. Add all of them. Delhi to Bharatpur by train, Jodhpur to by taxi, फिर bus and then train. Train, taxi, bus, train. Train, taxi, bus, train. एक फॉर्म है. Train 12 घंटे, फिर taxi 14. 12 plus 14 is how much? 26. Train, taxi, and then bus. 26 plus 15. What is 26 plus 15? 41. And then train. 41 plus 4 is 45. So basically, in this case, in the first option, the time taken is 45 hours. And the probability he will not reach 45 hours, which is same as nothing but that is 45 by 24 days. Am I right? ठीक है, 45/24 days इतना टाइम लग जाएगा पूरा ड्यूरेशन में. And the probability of not reaching on the time is equal to 0.627. And 45/24, it is equal to nothing but that is equal to 1.88. So the total time needed is equal to 1.88 days. Okay. What is the weightage of not reaching on the time? Is it given as 80% or 20%? Rocky ने क्या advise किया था? 80%. So 80%. Okay. So 80% is the probability. So in that case, if I say 0.627 into 80.8, take a 80% probability. So what is the value of 0.627 into 0.8? Can anyone tell me? 0.627 into 0.8. और दूसरे को 1.88 probability is this one 10%. So I can say 1.88 into 0.2. What is 1.88 into 0.2? Tell me these both the values. Okay. This is 0.50. That's right, 0.5016. And this value, it is equal to 1.88 into 0.3. That is equal to 0.38. 376. Okay. 376. Okay. I'm approximate up to 2 digits, that is 0.38, and this is up to 2 digits, that is equal to 0.50. Okay. So I can say probability is 0.50 plus 0.38, which is equal to total is 0.88. Similarly, on the similar grounds, you can calculate for all the options. Okay. So I'm just writing down for all the options. For the second option, it will come out of if we solve it in this way, 0.46 plus 0.25, which is equal to 0.75. Third way, you can say you get the value 0.36 plus 0.32, okay, which will be comes out to be 0.68. In the fourth one, you can say that is 0.39 plus 0.33, okay, which will be comes out to be 0.72. And in the fifth one, it will be equal to 0.28 not 0.28, 0.43 plus 0.28, and that will be equal to 0.7. Okay. So what should be the answer? Tell me. Option number 3. The correct answer is option number 3. So it's a difficult question. Okay. Now, यहाँ पे सबसे कम चांस. Okay. Yes. You are saying Yashwant has marked that option number 3 is having the lowest time. Alright, ठीक है, lowest time and the highest probability. ठीक है, that we also can do. ठीक है, lowest time. Yes, that's also okay. Now, why I have done this? That is for the question number 15. ठीक है. Now, that is also okay. Yashwant and lowest time and the highest probability. Now, question number 15 is, it says of the options listed below, which diagram most closely represents the contribution of each of the two criteria? And we have bottom portion of the bar chart representing, okay, of the options listed below, which diagram most closely represents the contribution of each of the two criteria. Bottom portion of the bar chart representing the contribution of the probability of not reaching the destination to the overall score for each of the options mentioned above. Each of the options mentioned above means for the previous question. In the previous question, there were 5 of the options. So, I think if you look at the contribution, like in the first case, this is 0.50 and 0.38. So, time the contribution है here. Can you say 0.5 upon 0.88? Yes or no? 0.55 upon 0.88. यही होगा ना? This is basically option A of the previous question. This is option B, the contribution of option B of the previous question. Contribution of option C of the previous question, option B and option E of the previous question. Okay. So in the first one, we have calculated that is 0.50, 0.38, total is equal to 0.88. So contribution for this one, not reaching on the time is 0.5 out of 0.88. So what is 0.55? Okay, 0.50 rather. 0.50 upon 0.88. Can anyone tell me कितना percent आ जाएगा ये? 0.50 upon 0.88. Please tell me, all of you, calculate this. Close to 62%. Close to 62%. Pakka? A 0.62. So which of the options give you the closest one? Close to 0.62. I think 0.62 नहीं आएगा. Let's check it. 0.56 or something. Most probably. 56.82 आएगा. 0.5 upon 0.88. 0.5 upon 0.88. Yes, that's right. Approximation गलत होगी तो options are very very close actually. So that's right. So I think you'll get 0.5 upon 0.88. Okay, for the option A, which is close to 56.8%. So I think the answer can't be option number 2 to reject कर सकता हूँ. 3 reject हो गया, 5 हो गया. Closest option 56.8. I think this one option number 4 is present. Option number A यहाँ पे 60 आ रहा है. This is 56.8 contribution. So the answer for this is option number 4 is the correct answer. Okay. If you want to cross check, you can calculate for rest of all the options. You get this data. Okay. So the answer is option number B. 4. Clear it? This was a difficult one. So any doubts to anyone now? Any of these questions? Alright, so we'll end the sessions here today. Tomorrow is the English class for year 2016. Question number 14. Yes, sir. Question number 14. Tell me. क्या doubt है? A, because this is 0.88. Read the statement of the Rocky ना. देखो. Choose the option with the lowest total. Fine. Choose the option with the lowest total. There, why A is not the answer. The lowest total is 0.65. Option number 3. I can highlight that. Okay, so any doubts to anyone now? So let's end the session. Does anyone remember what answer I marked for question number 4? 2. Fifth का मैंने किया था 3. 6 is 5. 7 is 1. When I upload this, तो उसमें answer नहीं जाएगा फिर. Okay, guys. So good night to all of you. We'll meet tomorrow. How shall we take the classes?
Music